Coming up today on RMU Live, protests scatter amongst NFL teams amongst a tweet from President Donald Trump. Pittsburgh wins another city award. And the United States imposes travel bans. All this and more coming up today on RMU Live. Welcome to RMU Live. Today is Monday, September 24th, 2017. I'm Gage Golding.
And I'm Logan Carney. Here's what's happening now.
The Pittsburgh Steelers made their opinion clear regarding recent political events, including President Trump's remarks. Trump said at a recent rally, quote, "Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of an expletive off the field right now. He's fired," end quote. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin released in an interview before the team took the field at Soldier Field in Chicago that the team would stay in the locker room during the national anthem. One Steeler came out of the locker room, and that was U.S. Army veteran and Steelers lineman Alejandro Villanueva, who stood outside of the tunnel with his hand over his chest singing the national anthem. The Steelers president Art Rooney and the second released the following statement on behalf of the team, quote, "Our players have stayed unified and have respected the fact that, like our country, there are diverse opinions in our locker room. It is a difficult time in our country. I hope that eventually we will come together as a nation to respect the diverse opinions that exist and work together to make our communities better for all of our citizens," end quote. Along with the Steelers organization, the sidelines were empty in Nashville and Chicago as players continued to protest. Jacksonville Jaguars owner Shahid Khan joined his team on the field, standing locked arm in arm with his players before Sunday's game. Team members of the Miami Dolphins also participated in protest. Players wore shirts that said "I'm with Cap" during warm-ups before their game against the New York Jets.
2 men were shot early Sunday in Mount Washington. Pittsburgh police found the 2 men about 2:15 a.m. at Virginia Avenue and Bingham Street. One was shot in the hand while the other was shot in the foot. Both were taken to UPMC Mercy and reported to be in stable condition.
A fire destroyed a public works building and equipment inside in Unity Township, Westmoreland County Sunday morning. The fire that started around 8:45 a.m. completely destroyed the building and some heavy equipment inside. Staff at the public works building managed to get out about 11 trucks before the fire overwhelmed the building. Over 100 firefighters responded to the incident that sent black smoke clouds billowing over parts of Unity Township. Authorities report that the state fire marshal is investigating the incident. 2 people are dead following a motorcycle accident in Washington County. 55-year-old James Martin lost control of his motorcycle on Highway Route 136 in Somerset Township. The passenger of the motorcycle, 54-year-old Don Stonefer, was also killed in the incident. Pennsylvania State Police are investigating the accident but have not released if speed or alcohol was a factor in the crash.
Mayor Bill Peduto proposed his new budget for the 2018 year. The operating budget is $555 million and includes no tax hikes for the 3rd year in a row. Expenses will go up as last year's budget was just $529 million. Most of the budget has to do with repairing infrastructure like roads and security cameras, as well as improving the city's pension fund.
Pittsburgh made national news recently, and this time it wasn't for sports. Pittsburgh not only beat out our sister city, Philadelphia, it beat out every city in the country in the latest polls. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is famous for a lot of things. Maybe it's sport teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers, Pirates, or Penguins. Even its academic programs and schools like University of Pittsburgh, Duquesne, or Robert Morris. Sometimes even the food, such as the famous Permane Brothers sandwich. But now Pittsburgh is famous for one more thing. Pittsburgh was recently named as the best city for millennials to live in. ApartmentList.com recently released a list of the top 75 United States metropolitan cities to live in. Cities were ranked on jobs, affordability, and livability.
I love that there's so many options for food. There's so many options for jobs, internships, connections, and the schools here are really good. They have a lot of really good programs.
All the amazing movies were filmed here, and it's just imagine that we're trying to get everybody to sort of come into Pittsburgh area, and everything that the new opportunities just come into Pittsburgh. Everybody's sort of seeing that and they're coming up here, and it's making us bigger and bigger.
Pittsburgh was named the #1 city in the United States for millennials to live in. Now, a close by Philadelphia was ranked a little bit lower. They came in at 56 on the list. Reporting from the North Shore at Point State Park, Gage Golding, RMU Century Media.
You know, Logan, people think about Pittsburgh and they think Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, but now they have something new to think about.
They do, Gage, and we're going to stay on the topics here with jobs and go to some more for Robert Morris students to think about. The Pittsburgh Industry Career Launch Job Fair will take place on September 28th from noon to 3 p.m. Over 90 companies and organizations will be there looking for interns and full-time employees. The event is being hosted by the Career and Professional Development Center. Staying with Robert Morris, another event happening here at RMU is the annual Fall Blood Drive that is taking place on Wednesday, September 27th. The Fall Blood Drive will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the John Jay Gym. If you're interested, then email andersond@rmu.edu your phone number and preferred time. The entire process should take about an hour.
Robert Morris University announced Friday via email to students that the Campus Fitness and Recreation Center would be postponed. Campus Recreation announced that the opening scheduled for today would be pushed back to Wednesday. Although all of the facility will not be available to students Wednesday due to ongoing construction and finalization, there will be a grand opening in October. For more updates on the Rec Center and coverage around the Pittsburgh area and Robert Morris University, be sure to visit rmu-centurymedia.com. Coming up on RMU Live, the U.S. has expanded its travel ban.
And Republicans make another attempt at revising the Graham-Cassidy bill. Coming up next.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Her final exam started 10 minutes ago. She'll wake up hungover and won't remember what happened last night. Extreme behaviors have extreme costs.
United States President Donald Trump has expanded his travel ban to include even more countries. The president included North Korea, Venezuela, and Chad to the latest list of nations on the ban. The president cites security concerns for the latest additions. Iran, Libya, Syria, Yemen, and Somalia remain under the travel ban. Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, used a private email to conduct official White House business. Kushner's lawyer confirmed the existence of this personal email account in a statement on Sunday. Dozens of emails were exchanged between Kushner and other White House officials on topics such as media coverage and event planning.
Angela Merkel was re-elected chancellor in the German election on Sunday. This will be her 4th term as chancellor. Her Conservative Party will either form a grand coalition with the Social Democratic Party or a 3-way coalition with the Liberal and Green parties. The hard-right AfD party rose to become the 3rd largest party, and a grand coalition will put them in direct opposition to Merkel.
Senate Republicans have gone to work again to repeal Obamacare. Senator Lindsey Graham and Bill Cassidy, alongside other Republicans, have been working to revise legislation before the repeal expires on September 30th. The revision includes increased federal funding to Alaska, Arizona, and Kentucky. All 3 states are home to senators representing the swing votes.
A terrifying story coming from Nashville yesterday as a masked gunman carrying 2 guns entered a church after fatally shooting a woman outside. Police said he then walked to the church silently while shooting 6 more people before he was finally stopped by an usher. Police later recovered another pistol and a shotgun from the suspect's vehicle. Luckily, though, none of the victims suffered inside the church suffered life-threatening injuries.
There has been a concerning lack of compassion after the devastation of Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico. There was even a bigger upset after a near total news blackout on the destruction in the U.S. Virgin Islands. There is a need for restoring basic necessities like hospital care, electricity, clean water, and food. Puerto Rico has been in a recession since 2006, and its national gross product has declined 15%.
The screaming eagle of soul, Charles Bradley, passed away this past weekend. Bradley was diagnosed with stomach cancer last year, but started touring again after the cancer was put in remission. Unfortunately, Bradley had to cancel some tour dates last month after he announced that the cancer returned and had spread to his liver. He passed away on Saturday while surrounded from his friends and family. He was 68. If you're interested in watching more RMU TV, be sure to check out the whole show lineup throughout the week.
And when we come back, we take a look at sports.
And we take a look at the weather for today and this upcoming week.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow.
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
In case you didn't keep count, those 2 Jell-O shots and 5 beers that I had with Greg really cost me. I mean, my license, $400 in court costs, $350 in other fees. My parents won't let me go on spring break until I pay back all the money that they lent me. Plus, I had to spend a night in jail. I have no car, so my friends have to chauffeur me around everywhere, or else I have to frickin' walk. And I mean, how uncool is that to walk anywhere?
Extreme behaviors have extreme costs.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Here's the latest updates in the world of sports. A back and forth between President Donald Trump and athletes led to protests across the NFL. This started with the England game between the Jaguars and Ravens, who kneeled for the U.S. national anthem but stood for the Great Britain national anthem. The Ravens were joined by Ray Lewis on the field, while the Jaguars were joined by their owner, Shahid Khan. The Seahawks and Titans also refused to take the field during the anthem in their game. Meanwhile, in the Lions versus Falcons game, both teams either kneeled or stood in locked arms for the anthem, while the singer of the national anthem took a knee at the very end. The same thing happened in the previously mentioned Seahawks-Titans game. Most protests were met with boos across the league, but perhaps the most significant of these included the Steelers, who refused to take the field during the anthem to promote unity. Former Army veteran and current offensive lineman Alejandro Villanueva exited the locker room and stood on the field by himself. Since then, his jersey sales have skyrocketed to number 6 in the league. Staying with the Steelers, they lost their first game of the year to the Bears yesterday by a score of 23-17. The game went into overtime and ended on a couple of long runs. This loss was despite the defense holding the Bears to just 84 yards through the air. The defense did give up 220 yards on the ground, however. Le'Veon Bell was once again held under 100 yards, while Ben Roethlisberger was held to just 212 yards through the air. They did manage to have under 10 penalties for the first time this year, with just 6 for 40 yards. The Steelers obviously have a lot to figure out before this week's game as they travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. During the protests going on in the NFL and by NBA players, the Pittsburgh Penguins announced that they will still be going to the White House as they quote-unquote respect the office, end quote, to celebrate their Stanley Cup victory. This has divided people as some think they shouldn't go, while others think they should. The Pittsburgh Pirates improved to 71-85 yesterday after defeating the St. Louis Cardinals by a score of 4-1. The Pirates will be taking on the Orioles in a 2-game set starting tomorrow. The NBA offseason has gotten more exciting as Carmelo Anthony was traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Anthony is just the latest superstar to be moved following trades of Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie Irving, Paul George, and Chris Paul. Anthony joins Paul and Russell Westbrook in forming a strong Big Three in a deep Western Conference. Moving on to Colonial football, they took on North Dakota State this past weekend. They fell by a score of 56-0. It was a tough one for the Colonials as North Dakota State has won 5 of the last 7 FCS championships. Robert Morris will be heading to East Tennessee State on Saturday. Staying with local college football, the Pittsburgh Panthers took on Georgia Tech this past weekend. The game was close at half before Georgia Tech pulled away with the 35-17 victory. The Panthers now sit at 1-3 on the year. Number 4, Penn State University won a close game in Iowa this weekend. The close game was close all the way to the end, with Penn State leading until about the 140 mark. It was then that a big run gave Iowa the lead. The Nittany Lions would then drive down the field and cross the goal line just as the time expired. Penn State remains undefeated at 4-0 on the season. And now on to number 23, West Virginia. They defeated Kansas this past weekend. The Mountaineers improved to 3-1 on the year after defeating the Jayhawks by a score of 56-34. The Mountaineers' next game will be against number 9 TCU. Now I'm sending it to Tyler Schlondorn with the weather. How's the weather looking, Tyler?
Thanks, guys. And now let's look at today's weather. As you can see, today is going to be partially cloudy today with a high of 85 and a low of 66 with humidity about 51%. If we look at tomorrow's weather, it will be 88 degrees again with a low of 64 and a humidity of 58%. Now let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. As you can see, we're going to continue this trend of being in the hot in the morning, then cold at night, with the cloudy at the beginning. And throughout the rest of the week, we're going to be looking at 70s, high 60s, and then 50 to low 40s throughout the rest of the week. Now, let's send it back to the desk.
That's all we have for RMU Live this afternoon.
We will see you next week.